It's the Fisherman's Catch Coaches Show on Eagle Country 103.9. Each week, we preview and review all the stories in Ilwaco High School athletics. Now let's take the field, tee up, hit the mat, and settle into the starting blocks for the Fisherman's Catch Coaches Show on Eagle Country 103.9.
Welcome to the Fisherman's Catch on Eagle Country 103.9, brought to you in part each week by Taft Plumbing and Septic in Ocean Park. It's a weekly chat here with Kevin McNulty, the Ilwaco High School Athletic Director, about all things fisherman sports, and he's also the head football coach. And we're going to be talking about his football team and also the latest from the volleyball team and cross-country team. And, Coach, we'll start the show as we do every week here during the fall, talking about the football team. This latest game, another league game at Willapa Valley that was rescheduled to Monday because of some really poor weather conditions back on Friday. It was a tough loss for the Fisherman team, who had been on a nice winning streak there going into this game, but you were facing a really good Willapa Valley team and came out on the short end this week. So just kind of take us through how this game played out.
Well, we did, and it was a little bit different, I have to admit, playing on a Monday evening as opposed to a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. So that was a bit different and may have thrown a little bit of a wrench in our mechanism. But, you know, we just didn't sustain drives, and we let Willapa Valley PL get some stuff rolling, and they took care of business. And it started out, things looked good. You know, the field looked good. Big rainstorm as we went out for warm-ups, and the field quickly turned a mud bowl. We opened up with an onside kick, and we recovered it. We were able to make a drive. Things were looking good. They ended up stopping us down on fourth down inside the 10. They got the ball, and it didn't take long for them. And the Kalen Jurek, the running back from PL Willapa Valley, to show us he is for real. He made a couple nice cuts right up the middle of the field and very good at cutback type runner. And he's a 5'8", 195-pound kid that can move. They went down and scored. We got the ball, of course, on the return and were able to sustain a drive. Got down to the 7-yard line and ended up throwing an interception on 4th and goal. It was intercepted. The kid intercepted on a 2-yard line, and as he is trying to get some running room, went back into the end zone, and we tackled him, so it was a 7-2 score. And we were, of course, back returning the ball, and they punted, and we got it, and were able to make another drive and come away with nothing. Really, in a nutshell, that was probably the ball game for the most part, because we weren't able to sustain those drives and get points out of them. And not only that, when they stopped us, they did get points. I think the running back from PWV had his first 4 carries, and he had 100 yards.
Wow.
And so it was quite a night for him as the game progressed, in which we knew after the first quarter that it was probably going to become a mud bog, and it did. And not that should favor them. They were able to get some straight ahead stuff. We, of course, we think we're pretty much straight ahead, but we were a little slow getting off the ball. Line-wise, our backs were hitting the hole a little slow, and they're getting in there and causing havoc. They put a lot of guys in the box. We tried to throw. We weren't connecting. Jack probably had the most miserable night throwing that he's had maybe in his high school career. I believe he is 4 for 13 with 2 picks. And,
wow.
you know, he's been averaging a touchdown a game, and just wasn't – he had pressure, and, of course, the weather wasn't real conducive to a pass game either. PWV threw 2 times and completed 1 pass, but they also were able to run the ball effectively and did. The running back ended up with a little over 200 yards on 10 carries, so he had a good average.
Yeah.
You know, it helps when you get a 73-yard carry. 29-2 at halftime, And we were receiving the ball in the second half, and again, we just weren't able to. The steam was gone. Our kids didn't quit, but we needed something to pick us up, and
sparks.
You just something to light us up. And that first quarter was really a opportunity for that to help kids stay motivated and little adrenaline, that type of stuff. In the second quarter, we had opportunities as well, and of course, we're playing. We're their homecoming game, and so they were ready to get after it. And I'll tell you what, I was impressed with them. They played physical football. They got after us on both sides of the ball. They were prepared, and I think we were a little awestruck. We'd been on a little bit of a roll, and we found somebody that was prepared and ready for us, and ready to take us to task. And we didn't respond real well. Now, that being said, playing on a Monday, I guess the positive that we'll take out of it is that we have a short week and we get an opportunity to take care of business Friday against Ocosta for our homecoming game. So, you kind of have that sick feeling right now where you look at things and see what could have been. And that was, definitely one of those that if you win, you're in the driver's seat for the league title.
Yeah.
And PWV is sitting there right now, and we're battling for second. And, we have to find that motivation to battle for second, because you look at the crossover games for the playoffs, and 1 and 2 definitely have a much better spot than number 3 and 4. 3 and 4, not such a good spot. 4, definitely not even fun. And we're in control of our own destiny.
Yeah.
We're not counting on anybody else. If we win out, we're sitting number 2. And that could conceivably put us against an opponent we've already played in non-league. And we'll just have to wait and see how that. The only thing we can control is worrying about Friday night right now, and then we'll have to, of course, finish up with North Beach. So that's what we're going to look to this week, and get prepared for the Ocosta Wildcats.
All right, so the motivation is there. They control their own destiny, and that's a great position to be in as you close out the regular season. Willapa Valley took this one 45-2, and we'll come back here and have some more football thoughts with the coach here, and looking ahead to their next contest, which is going to be their homecoming game. This is the Fisherman's Catch, brought to you each week in part by Taft Plumbing and Septic in Ocean Park. And we'll keep talking to Coach McNulty next on the Fisherman's Catch on Eagle Country 103.9. And welcome back to the Fisherman's Catch on Eagle Country 103.9, brought to you in part each week by Taft Plumbing and Septic in Ocean Park. I'm Sean O'Connor, talking to Coach Kevin McNulty, the Ilwaco High School Athletic Director, and he's also the head football coach of the Ilwaco Fishermen. And they just came off this loss here to Willapa Valley on Monday night, 45-2. And, Coach, you were talking about how it's a short week, and they're going to have lots of motivation going into this next game, trying to get that bad taste out of their mouth. And so when you look back on this game and how the routine was different, how much of a role do you think that played in this game with Willapa Valley? Was it a lot more of just kind of strange territory there at the Monday night game, or was this just really, as you said, a really impressive opponent?
Both, and we can't say, the schedule changed for just us. PWV had to play the same schedule. We didn't have school on Friday because of the storm, and Saturday, of course, the weather forecast looked even worse, and weren't able to have practice Friday, Saturday. Sunday we had a optional film study and get together and just kind of refocus things. So it was kind of an awkward break, right?
Yeah.
After you're prepared, you prepare Monday through Thursday, things are ready to go, and you're ready for a big Friday night game, and then it's not to be. And we had kids that were out of town over the weekend. We had some kids that wanted to get together and do walkthroughs, really knowing the situation. We have an interesting dynamic on our team. We have those that understand where we're sitting and that we had an opportunity for a league title, and others that are, younger, and this is their first go-around, and they're just part of the team, and and we want them part of the team, but they don't understand that the significance of this game, I guess. And now we move forward and onward and try to pick up. So, it was awkward playing on a Monday night, but both teams did it. I don't know that the weather was any better than it was on Friday, quite frankly, but you gotta be cautious, and we want them to be safe first. So, PWV was just a physical football team. In fact, I'm looking back on the scores today and that we've had this season, and Toledo, who's ranked number 4 in the state, actually beat PWV earlier this season 27-0.
Wow.
And PWV coaches said Toledo really out-physicaled them. And I look back on that, and we played Toledo, and they out-physicaled us, there's no doubt, but I'm not so sure we weren't out-physicaled more so on Monday night than by Toledo. We'll see. I think PWV is an improving football team. Well, I really don't know. They're either improving or we weren't hitting on all cylinders. Yeah. And that's yet to be determined. I watched some game film and got to see some of the blunders we were making, and they're fixable things or things we were doing earlier in the season. We just didn't maybe take care of business, offensively. We haven't been shut down like that all year.
Right.
In fact, I think you'd have to go back probably 3 or 4 years ago. We didn't score a touchdown. The only thing we got last night was a safety after an interception. And even against Toledo, we scored a couple touchdowns and we're doing things and moving the ball. We didn't do so. They took care of business last night.
Yeah, they took care of business and got the league win. So now you guys are going to try to shake that off and move on to this game with Ocasta, which, as you said, is your homecoming game this Friday. So got to imagine the team is going to have a lot of energy for this one.
Absolutely. There are 2 directions. Any head football coach will tell you homecoming week can be a great thing. It can also be a great distraction. And we're hoping that it gets kids fired up and ready to play football on Friday night. And one of the things that we work on this week is becoming more physical up front.
Yeah.
And that's not on just offensive line. That's defensive line. It's not just line. It's our backs. When they're lead blocking, we got to get contact, keep the feet moving, and sustain our blocks. We have some decent running backs, but we're not lightning quick or nor fast, but we can get in there and do some things and normally sustain drives, and that's what we're going to do against Ocasta. They'll give us some different looks defensively and a little bit different from offense. They're running from the spread and they're throwing the ball. They're out of gun, and we don't face a whole lot of that, quite frankly, in our league. So that'll be a little different situation for us, but I think the thing that we need to do is refocus quickly. We just have a couple days, and we're back on the field on Friday night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got an Ocasta team that is not had quite the success that your team has had so far. They're 2-3 on the season and 0-2 in league play. So do you kind of worry about a team like this, that a team that can be overlooked, ready to deliver an upset kind of a game?
Absolutely. We have to. We honestly have to. We're not that great of a football team that we can overlook anyone. We have the potential to be pretty good on any given night, but not if we're overlooking someone. We have to play like every play is meaningful, every quarter is meaningful, and this game is meaningful. And if we do that, we'll set ourselves up for the last game of the season being, something that's significant.
Yeah.
If we overlook this one and we're focusing on homecoming festivities and all that, Saturday we'll have a sick feeling in our stomach. So I'm pretty confident that our kids are wanting to get this feeling that they have in them right now, get beyond it, and enjoy the thrill of victory.
All right, so they got Ocasta coming up here this Friday night for their homecoming game, and they're going to look to get back on the winning track here as we get closer and closer to postseason play. We'll come back and finish up our football thoughts here with Coach McNulty and then move on to the volleyball and cross-country schedule. You're listening to the Fisherman's Catch on Eagle Country 103.9. And welcome back to the Fisherman's Catch on Eagle Country 103.9. It's brought to you in part each week by Taft Plumbing and Septic in Ocean Park. Talking to Kevin McNulty, the Ilwaco High School Athletic Director. And just to finish up our talk on his Fisherman football team, Coach, going into this game here Friday night on a short week against an Ocosta team that's really desperate for a win here, what do you think is going to be the most important thing for your team to focus on?
Well, we have to stop the forward pass this week. We face an opponent that likes to throw the football. They're going to line up and huck it. It doesn't matter if it's pouring down rain or a monsoon. They're going to try to throw the football. And that's something different than we face throughout our league. So it's a little different preparation. And we got to get our defensive backs ready to go and linebackers ready to cover. And, of course, we're going to pressure the kid. We got to get in there and apply pressure and make him run and rally to the football. So it'll be a little different. I honestly believe if our kids show up and play to their ability that we'll run right over them offensively as far as moving the football. But a lot of things can happen. They throw a little different defense where a lot of times they don't have anybody down with their hand in the ground on their defensive front. They'll play in a 2-point stance, and they bounce in and out and move around and try to cause your linemen stress and not knowing who they're supposed to block. But we are going to shore up some things, and we're going to be prepared on Friday night.
All right, they got Ocosta here for their homecoming game coming up on Friday night, and just trying to get another league win. They control their own destiny here heading into the postseason if they get a couple of wins moving into the playoffs. So let's talk about the volleyball team now. They've had some success kind of back and forth on the year. So how do you like how they've been performing?
Well, we're 4-5 overall, and we're 1-3 in league, and we're sitting right there in a spot. The top 7 out of our league qualify for district tournament, the top 9 out of the central, so it's obviously a 16-team bracket, and we're right on the bubble right now, and we have a couple big ones this week. We traveled to Life Christian in Tacoma. Life Christian is undefeated, sitting on top in the league and undefeated for the season. That's a difficult challenge, especially for our young team that is getting better. Last week we played Willapa Valley up there, and we played really solid the first game, and then the next 2 didn't go in our favor, and we ended up with an early ride headed home. So this week we host North Beach on Thursday, and that's a big one. We're both sitting there in a similar spot, 7th and 8th in the league. And for us to qualify for the district tournament, that's a significant opponent for us. So
wow,
we look forward to that on Thursday. And then, of course, we close out season, regular season next week. At home, we play Raymond. That was a game that was postponed earlier and moved to the 25th to next Tuesday. And then we finish going to Northwest Christian, which, again, Northwest Christian is a pretty good volleyball team as well. And they're sitting up top, and they're sitting in second only because they haven't played as many games as Life Christian. So Northwest Christian is also undefeated on the season, and setting up for a good league championship match. So we have a couple we feel we can get down the home stretch, and a couple real challenges, to be honest. But our goal hasn't changed, and that's to be playing in postseason, which is something Ilwaco hasn't done for a while in volleyball.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, at least a good opportunity to make the postseason if they get a couple of big wins.
Exactly. And
yeah,
that's what we're looking at.
All right. So the volleyball team at least is in position to get to the postseason if they can handle a couple of big league games coming up the next couple of weeks. Well, let's get to the cross-country team before we close out the show here, Coach. Did they have anything that was postponed by all the weather?
They didn't have any. We didn't have anything scheduled, fortunately.
Oh, okay.
And at this point in the season, we're kind of preparing for postseason. I know that sounds funny, but it's true. We finished our last regular season competition last week at Rockaway. Coach Taylor said the course was really difficult. Not just difficult for our kids, but difficult. It was a challenging course. It was muddy, and the times were not anything like they had been. So, not a bad thing at this point to experience something like that. But we prepare now for our league championships, which will happen in a couple days, and that'll be at Ocosta. The league championship, it doesn't mean if you win the league title that you advance or anything, but it's just for our league and recognition. Also, Coach Taylor has some decisions to make because the top 7 boys and top 7 girls for our team qualify for the district meet, and there's some real tight races going on there for spots amongst our team. So she's got a decision to make, and this Thursday at Ocosta will be the last time that our middle school and our JVs compete this season. And at that point, it'll be decision to take the top 7 runners of each gender and head in preparation for postseason, which will be at Onalaska the following week. And of course, that'll be qualifying teams and individuals to state over in the Tri-Cities. So we've got a lot happening. Cross country, I like their chances. We're looking good, both girls and boys qualifying a team. Not to put any pressure on our team, but I think we have some kids coming along. Our cross country team has a little bit of, the older girls, the seniors, but also a great group of freshman girls that are helping push and make a better team. And the boys, we also had, Daniel Whiting was 3rd overall at Neoconi last week and has an outstanding showing. And then on the girls' side, Eliza Bannister and Caitlin Weldon were 8th and 9th. And Eliza's a junior and Caitlin's a freshman. So some good things happening. And we hope to be talking in a week or two and talking about our kids going over to the Tri-Cities and competing at the state cross-country meet.
All right. Well, I'm sure they like that confidence that you have in them to make postseason. It's got to feel good.
It does.
Yeah. All right. So the cross-country team is just about done with their regular season schedule, and we'll be talking about postseason possibilities next week here on the Fisherman's Catch. And we'll also find out how that football team did trying to get redemption against Ocosta this Friday night. So that's going to do it for the Fisherman's Catch this week, brought to you in part each week by Taft Plumbing and Septic in Ocean Park. And we'll meet you back here next Wednesday night to talk more Fisherman Fall sports on Eagle Country 103.9.
This has been the Fisherman's Catch Coaches Show on Eagle Country 103.9. Join us each week during the school year at 6 p.m. Wednesdays as we take a closer look at Ilwaco High School athletics on Eagle Country 103.9.